This final bit. I think this is something that we can really dig into. I saw a tweet, someone talking about no, they should make an R-rated Superman, and I saw various people responding to that. Comic book creators who've actually drawn and or written Superman, and most of them by and large, I'd say the vast majority were like, hell no. Why would you? Why should you? And I thought this would be an interesting thing for us to talk about. LADI, we know the man of steel, the Boy Scout. He wears his underwear on the outside of his pants. He's the man of tomorrow. He is the exemplar. He is the one that everyone looks to as not just for leadership, but also to always do the right thing. He's the savior of humanity, etc., etc., etc. You know what I'm talking about. R-rated, and we saw Snyder's version and so forth. Should they make a Superman movie R-rated? Go.
Listen, man, this is one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes about Superman. Superman is not grounded, guys. Get over it. Superman is not a grounded superhero.
He's not
Please.
grounded, but he is based. I've heard that's what the kids say.
Oh my goodness. Why? What do you want Superman to do? Punch through somebody's chest? If you're making a good Superman movie, he's fighting people that are just as strong as him, who have invulnerability just as good as him.
Or he's fighting someone who is like tissue paper to him, but has power in some other way, like Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor
Yes.
doesn't always have a green, kryptonite suit on. Sometimes he's just a guy that's evil. And Superman never, at no point does he ever try to murder him.
See, here's the thing, man. I just hate this. I'm talking about this with my friend Anthony. That there was this following that was happening over the summer where people were saying, stop making Superman godly or Jesus like. And like this dude made this video that got like millions of views. And he was just trying to make all these points. And I literally commented on his video and says, do you know anything? Like, are you not intelligent? And I was like, you know what L means, right? L means God. The creator of Superman was Jewish, so he knows Hebrew. He specifically named Superman Kal-El. L, anytime you see the name L at the end of any name, it means God, some form of God. Jor-El means God's wisdom. Kal-El means, I forgot what it is. I think Kal-El means God's protector or something like that. Basically, he was saying that Superman from the very beginning, from the first comic book, is a godly protector. Superman is supposed to be this beyond person. He's not supposed to be grounded. He's supposed to be over the top. Why? What's the point of making it rated R? He's not Kratos. He's not what's the dude's name? He's not Spawn. Superman fights godly beings that have invulnerability. Superman doesn't punch people and make them splatter into dust. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, why? Like, what is wrong? This is the problem with DC. Here's the problem with DC. Their fans are weird. DC fans are weird. They really are.
You know what? I don't know about all. I think that there's several things going on with people having this attitude. Do you know a lot of people be like, man, I don't really care much. I prefer Batman. I don't care. I used to be that guy until I started reading Superman comics, and I was like, oh my God, I was 100% wrong. Because, I grew up, every kid knows Superman. They know what he's about. He's, like I said, the Boy Scout and everything. It seems very boring to simple-minded people. Yes, if I'm insulting you, I'm sorry, but if you think that that's all Superman's about, you are simple. You are seeing the exterior, and you are not looking deeper into what's going on with this character.
Mhm.
You're right. He's godlike. It's a man that's godlike and could rule the planet. In fact, we see all these evil. We did a show about evil Superman, like way at the beginning of the Supercast. All the evil Superman, right? The alternate Superman. How many of them are bad? How many of them are like, I'm gonna run this, I'm running the planet. I'm gonna murder everyone who's in my way. Omni Man, right?
Yeah.
Hyperion, Sentry. They're fucked up in some way or another, and they essentially terrorize the planet because they're godlike
Yeah.
power. And Superman, that they are not Superman. That's the one thing to keep in mind. They aren't him. They are a reaction to the Superman mythos of people trying to
Yeah.
say, what if Superman went bad? But that's the thing. Superman doesn't go bad because that's not Superman. Even Injustice
Yeah.
Superman isn't really, he's not really Superman.
Yeah.
And so, why, in what world would he be R rated? You got a man, this is a dude who can fly into the sun and not die, right? Who can hear, pins drop across the world, who, all this other stuff. And at no point does he try to smash through somebody or rip their heart out or tear them apart. He's not Homelander. Why does anyone want, like I said, this whole move to quote, make him grounded, to make him more realistic, to make him more edgy, is from simple-minded people who have, for whatever reason, want cynicism to rule the day. That's not what Kal-El is about. He's about the best of us. He's about a godlike being who walks among us and doesn't lord his power over us, but instead is constantly trying to save. He's trying to better the world. He could rule the world, but instead he wants the world to be, to be ruled by the people that live there. And he's just there to try, to fend off the darkness. And no way in hell do I ever want to see him R-rated. No. If I want to see R-rated, quote, Superman, I'll just watch The Boys. But the Superman I want to see, the one that I thought I was too cool for back in the day, that I finally had to read and really understand what was going on, he is the best of us. And there's no way you're the best of us if you're doing R-rated shit.
See, here's the thing: the people who want to see an R-rated Superman and do bad stuff are the same people that say Naruto, the character of Naruto is the flattest shonen character. Those are the same type of people because they don't like seeing a character that has all this power and but chooses to be good. People don't like to see that because in some form or fashion they look and imagine how they would be if they had all that power. But Naruto and Superman made the conscious decision at a young age to be good people. Even when the world didn't care for them, they still chose to be good. And that's what makes their characters amazing because they weren't good because of, some plot. They were actually, the character itself chose to be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what makes their characters good. And I root for Superman. I root to see whenever Superman struggles in a fight, it makes me root for him more because he's a good guy. Same thing with Naruto. You know what I mean? That's why I love Superman. You know what I mean? And many people, even Batman, puts their insecurities onto Superman because they know somewhere in the back of their mind they may not be as good of a person if they had Superman's powers.
Yeah. And which really makes I think people are distrustful of
Yeah.
that because no one wants to believe that anyone's altruistic or really that good. Like they know, like you said, if I had that power, I'd be ruling the world. That's the sort of thinking that people are doing. And that's because he's an aspirational figure. Yeah.
Mm.
would you say the same thing about other godlike figures in other kind of stories like Jesus or the Buddha or whatever? They are
Mhm.
godlike, and yet their whole thing is like not to lord that power over people, but to use it for the good of mankind. And I think that's the cynicism that people, and this may be a consequence of like the times we live in. Yeah, it feels like all the time we're in these times, but people really don't want to trust each other. They don't want to trust the good in each other. They don't want to believe that someone who doesn't look like them is actually a human being that might actually want what's good for other people. They just don't believe that other people can be good. And Superman really challenges that. Like Superman as a character challenges that, and we all know that. And people trying to poke holes in, or somehow bring some kind of kryptonite into that to try to tear that myth down. It's a sad and cynical act, but it doesn't work. And that the thing is I don't think they'll ever do it, because I think anybody that is in charge of DC anywhere ever have to know that you can't do that to Superman. Not just you can't, they wouldn't want to, because it will betray the character. I know James Gunn has done he's had characters that are, pretty fucked up, but he'll never make Superman like that, because I know that he has
Yeah.
too much respect for that character to allow such a thing to happen. And I think that any self-respecting comics fan, shouldn't want it to be like that. Should never want it to be like that. And so I'll again reiterate: no. Can they? Sure, they can. Should they? Hell, no. There's no R-rated Superman ever. And if they do, I can't support that. So. And LADI, I'm going to assume you say the same.
Yes.
So there you go. There's the definitive statement. No R-rated Superman.